Greetings, Star Warriors, and welcome to the Outer Rim. I wasn't going to make a video today because I'm working on a more involved video that's going to take a lot more time to finish, but there is a trend starting over there at Disney Lucasfilm, and I'm tired of it. I see what's happening, and I'm not playing it. It's stupid and sick to me. So, what am I going on about? Well, I want you to imagine a situation wherein Liam Neeson is out for lunch one day. He happens to walk past Disney Studios, and he sneezes. And then next thing you know, there's an article that comes out online that says, the Taken Star and Sometimes Jedi Knight had some important information to impart to the cast of the Solo film, blah, blah, blah. But we can't tell you what he said. Well, of course you can't tell me what he said. How much is a sneeze worth? And so, Disney is dropping names like George Lucas and Harrison Ford. They're coming in to advise, quote unquote, on the Solo film. Did they maybe go in there and say something to somebody? Maybe. So I'm going to read you a couple small parts of a couple different articles today, just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about specifically. And then we'll wrap this up. The title of the first article is Harrison Ford was a covert advisor to Solo, a Star Wars story. Ooh. And it starts off with this quote from Harrison Ford. "Tell them I told you everything you needed to know, and that you can't tell anyone." That was Harrison Ford's advice for Alden Ehrenreich, the man who would be Han, when they sat down for lunch in January of last year, shortly before production began on Solo, a Star Wars story. So this happened last year, before the production of Solo began. This was a long time ago. Why is this article coming out now? And here it jumps in with some Kathleen Kennedy stuff. "It was perfect. Classic Harrison," Kennedy says, breaking into his signature low-key grumble. Good kid, really good kid." Her imitating Harrison. Is that really worth writing an article over? I mean, not that it's hard to write an article, but is it really worth it? Just, Harrison Ford telling Kennedy that Ehrenreich is a good kid? That's basically the equivalent of Liam Neeson sneezing in front of Disney Studios. Not every word that comes out of Harrison Ford's mouth is going to be newsworthy. But now we have another article where they do virtually the same thing with George Lucas, so let's head on over to that one. And this article is entitled, How George Lucas Helped Out on Solo, a Star Wars Story. And this part of it says, according to Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy, he had intended to just kind of stop by and say hi, and he stayed 5 hours. There's even one little moment in a scene that, I can't tell you. What? Sorry. But in the scene on the Millennium Falcon where George said, why doesn't Han just do this? You see what I'm saying here? It sounds like Kathleen Kennedy isn't willing to reveal exactly what George Lucas suggested on set until after Solo, a Star Wars story comes out. Now, he could have been talking to anybody at the studio that day for 5 hours and just happened to saunter onto the set where they were and just given anyone, the slightest, tiniest little bit of advice and walked off. The news in both these stories are effectively worthless. The only thing that's worth anything is the names of George Lucas and Harrison Ford. So, I'm going to go to a specific Harrison Ford quote in a different article wherein he tells you exactly what he thinks and what he does concerning this Solo film. Now, I'm not going to lie, this article was written 2 years ago. The title of it is What Harrison Ford Really Thinks About the Han Solo Spinoff. In a recent interview, Ford provided a characteristically blunt statement about his involvement with the entitled Han Solo Star Wars anthology film. I'm sure whoever is responsible for that film, and I'm not, will think through the issues and problems of doing such a thing. Let's make them responsible for those questions you might think to ask me about the Han Solo movie, because I'm not involved. And then if we skip down a little bit in the article, and it says, When asked if he'd be giving the new Solo any advice, Ford said frankly, "I'm not going to do that." Now, in 2 years, are things liable to change? Possibly. But he seemed relatively sure about things there, and the guy's time is worth a lot of money. He spent the last 40 years trying to get them to kill Han Solo. What is he going to be able to tell this new kid, that's really going to make a difference? And why would he bother? I mean, Harrison Ford is most likely to tell this kid not to do the movie, you know. Like, comment, subscribe, share this across the galaxy, hit that notification bell, and as always, if you're listening to this, nah, I can't tell you.